So what is Talent Dynamics? Talent Dynamics is actually a business development pathway. Now, when people hear business development, often they think sales, they think marketing, you know, what's it all about? Well, Talent Dynamics as a business development pathway is actually quite different because it's putting talent into the centre of what's actually going on with an organisation. It's all about helping people to get into flow. What do I mean by flow? It's where people are doing work that they are naturally suited to, that they can understand and consciously add value and build trust and really help to get better results by leveraging the value that they add. And that's what Talent Dynamics is all about. We can work with smaller companies. You know, one of our clients is only a team of 4, and then we also work with General Mills, which is one of the largest food manufacturers in the world. I want to talk about the different ways that you can add value as a company. When people think about adding value, they think about how they actually operate. They don't necessarily think about the specific strengths that they bring as an individual and as an organisation. And one of them is through innovation, okay? And one of them is through timing. And so basically this is where people are creating, they're innovating, might be creating products, might be creating businesses. And down here is where you've got people who are actually delivering. So, you know, where you've got it's all about the where and the when and the logistics. Okay, so you might have somebody here like James Dyson who's creating products all the time, and you may have somebody down here who's running an events organisation. And so when you actually think about your company in that terms, it makes you look at what you're doing differently, because often companies get these two ways of adding value mixed up, and perhaps they might not have the right people on the team to focus on the particular value that they're actually looking to deliver. So how do you actually leverage that then? Well, you can leverage through people and through systems. And depending on who's in the organisation and where their particular natural strengths lie, often people will focus on one or the other. But ideally, you actually want to have both in your company, don't you? So it's just something for you to think about as I'm explaining a bit more about Talent Dynamics in terms of, well, what is it that you do and where do you add the most value in your company? I'm going to give you a very fast tour through the 8 Talent Dynamics profiles and just a glimmer of the strategies that go with those. So up here we have the innovation, and you've got 3 people who are really excellent at innovation in one way or another. So you've got creators. Now, the creator profile is what most people think of when they think of an entrepreneur. So say Richard Branson, for instance, classic creator profile. Thinks 10 million miles at an hour, you know, just so fast, often leaves people behind. Creators are fantastic at creating businesses, for instance. They're not always so good at running them, okay? Because they're great at starting things, not very good at finishing them. And a lot of creators can get stuck in their business and they get very frustrated and often will run the businesses into the ground or just kind of plateau and get stuck, you know, because of that. Introverted creators tend to be more product focused, like the James Dyson that I'd mentioned earlier. Over here on this side of the square, we have the more extrovert people. So you've got the stars. Stars are great at selling, they're great at communications. Stars shine by shining their light on other people, other things, other ideas. They're actually never going to be as creative as a creator. Now, every single profile will be creative in its own way, but in terms of creating ideas and products and businesses and things like that, you know, that's where they will sit. When it comes to the communication and branding and marketing and reputation, that very often will sit with star people. On the left-hand side over here, more introverted, more detailed, you've got the mechanic, much more systems-focused and process-focused. And if you think about it, if you want to get your car fixed and you take it to a mechanic, you wouldn't expect a mechanic to fix something without it actually being there first, would you? A mechanic can be fantastically creative, but they have to have something to be creative with, okay? So everything starts with the creator and it goes the whole way around here and it ends with the mechanic. And that goes in terms of the growth of a business, in terms of a project life cycle, you know, product. It will actually go through each of these different stages. But the mechanic is really good at actually taking things apart and putting them back together. And it's very clear to them what is wrong, you know. So down here then, you've got people who very much have their ear to the ground. Now, with the innovative people up here, it's all about head in the clouds. And they're often told to come down to earth, but that's not actually where they add the most value. Whereas down here, it's all about, it's ear to the ground. It's much more about sort of feeling their way through things. They tend to be very kinesthetic. And it's all about actually knowing people, knowing the market, knowing the research. You know, that's how they operate. So if you think of the trader, you've got your typical market trader. What do? They know where and when to buy, and they know where and when to sell. Traders are fantastic at getting margin in your business, and they're very, very good at customer service, and they're very good at building on existing relationships. But they're probably not going to be very comfortable going out and selling the way that one of these profiles would be. Over here on the right-hand side, you've got deal makers. Now, deal makers have got the biggest contact books that you have ever seen, okay? They know everybody. They're the people you sit down, they're fantastic for giving referrals, okay? Really, really good. Because they know everybody, and they meet people, and they will ask them loads and loads of questions, and you might even feel a bit interrogated, but they want to know how they can serve you. They want to know who to connect you with. Okay, and they just do it naturally. A lot of deal makers lose out, though, because they don't understand how to get value from their strengths. And so they connect everybody else, and everybody else makes money, and they never seem to get in on that somehow. So understanding the strategies can, you know, really help with that. So the accumulator person is fantastic at actually scheduling. They're really good at kind of making sure that the logistics are being applied and they're putting those project plans in place. The accumulator is the person who you want managing the detail of a project on a day-to-day basis. The lords are absolutely fantastic at analysis. They make great management consultants because they can actually go in at the detail and also come back out and see the big picture. So then over here we have the supporter profile. Now basically the supporter is the best natural leader of people. Any of these profiles are great leaders in the right place and at the right time. Okay? But the supporter is the one who naturally wants to get the most out of people. They're fantastic at spotting potential and bringing that along. And just they're really passionate about making sure that people are in the right roles. And they're the ones who actually intuitively will get this. That's an overview of talent dynamics. And some of you will be resonating with this because you'll be thinking, right, okay, am I completely in my flow or aren't I? What do I need to do to get into flow? You know, how can I actually leverage flow within my team? So it's all about the team. It's all about having the right person in the right role with the right accountabilities, okay? And there's layers in this in terms of, you know, the timing of things. So, for instance, often the ideas that creators and stars will come up with are ahead of their time. But if you have somebody from down here, they understand A, the pricing, and B, they understand the timing of when you actually bring something to market. They see the speed of thinking slows down as you go around here. And I'm not saying these people are stupid, far, far from it. But you have to slow your thinking down to get into the detail. That's why people up here are no good at the detail. And the key thing is that for me to be in flow in my profile, I need to make sure that you're in flow. And it's a really good question to ask yourself. If somebody is annoying you, ask yourself, what can I do to get them back into flow? Because if they're annoying you, they're not delivering. And they're not delivering because they're out of flow. So how can you help them get back into flow? Then they'll deliver, then they won't be annoying you. But the brilliant thing is that actually talent dynamics really walks its talk, you know, in that, you know, Michelle, who I'm working with, who runs this company, you know, I just absolutely love it. It's the only company ever that I've ever worked with where we actually do the things really 100% that are done with clients. It's fantastic, and it shows in the results that are happening.